welcome ladies and gentlemen. This will be the second week of the AHGL cast. I am Pulse and I am joined by Spuddington. Hello, Spuddington.
Hello. It's a good day to be here. I think they're doing picks and bans in chat. So
they are indeed, yeah. I would call you co-host, but we had a giant discussion over that.
Yeah, during the fail cast that we recorded. Yes. By the way, that'll be on YouTube in a few days. Plug.
YouTube.com/watchholes.
So apparently they're going to be doing the picks and bans in the chat. So we will. They may well be doing that just to be a little bit faster about it, or well, not to be faster about it, to be a little bit slower about it, to give themselves more time to think. So we will slowly discuss everything they do. First bans, Jax and Rumble.
Yes, indeed. So Jax is just a very strong top laner in general. Jax has probably one of the best scalings of any top laner. Irelia is not really being used at the moment for a variety of reasons, but Jax just is a time bomb champion. He gets to that stage where he'll literally 1v3. He just gets incredibly strong. His kit is absolutely amazing. His laning phase is not spectacular, but when he ranks up to those maybe level 9 to 13 stages, he really starts to vamp up in power. And we will have Rumble Kha'Zix as well. Kha'Zix, once again, is very, very strong at the moment. Massive dominance in that sort of mid-game where he has those void spikes, which are just ridiculous with that passive augmenting them.
Yeah, and you end up with a similar thing with Zed, because Black Cleaver suited Zed absolutely... Wait, did he come out before or after Black Cleaver, or about the same time?
Regardless. Same time.
Yeah, same time. Well, Zed basically suits the new Season 3 items down to the ground. He's very much based on having a lot of AD and obviously armor penetration and cooldown reduction. Black Cleaver is amazing on him because he can proc it loads and obviously on everyone. Does a lot of damage with it. He can burst very, very hard as well. And he also has a pretty good laning phase against a lot of the common mid characters from Season 2. It's actually becoming much more focused around AD mids currently, like Kha'Zix, like Zed, and against the kind of beefier AP mid characters, actually maybe like Rumble, or at least the safer AP mid characters that have some answer when a bruiser or an AD assassin jumps on their face. So that they have an answer like a stun card, hello Twisted Fate ban, that will, obviously keep hold of their lane. And so we've actually got a full list of the bans now. And the last one on the list that we haven't mentioned is Blitzcrank. Obviously, it's just annoying, really annoying to deal with Blitzcrank in bot lane.
Yeah, and he has some really nice transition into late game as well. Blitz allows you to do so many different things, like from a fantastic early game invade to late game sieging. It's just fantastic. Then again, it might not pay off if you have the type of team comp for it, of course, like Ezreal, just to point one character out at least. So, first pick will be Sona, coming from Plag, who is from...
Ernst&Young.
Ernst&Young. I want to call them Ernst&Young because that's what the email said, and then I got really confused. So it's Ernst&Young versus Microsoft right here, and that will be Sona.
Yeah, Sona is currently pretty strong support. She still has the weakness that she was put into relatively recently, that she is incredibly squishy. I mean, she has the stats, the base defensive stats of a melee creep. And obviously runes can help to itemize against that. I mean, I personally run full armor, I think seals and marks, which obviously make her a little bit tankier. But what she brings with that, though, is she brings a lot of damage. She brings a lot of burst in the early levels. And in fact, even later on, she has pretty high damage for support. And obviously also brings that ultimate, which is so powerful in that, an instant cast AoE stun on, you can hit the entire enemy team with it. It actually does a fair bit of damage itself as well. Sets up kills in lane amazingly well and transitions incredibly well into the teamfight phase. Although it looks like maybe they're going to be going AoE versus AoE here because they picked up a Mumu and Misfortune against that.
Is that Nunu or Mumu? I'm going to go ask him.
It's got to be Mumu. If it's, he couldn't have made the same typo twice. Well, I could actually. They're right next to each other.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably a Mumu. I'd be very surprised if it weren't.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it is a Mumu. Yeah, so AoE com, really looking to push forward that mid game. So Lee Sin, Ezreal coming out. Lee Sin has a lot of early game and mid game dominance, scaling up slightly into that late game, but still pretty valuable. Class as an assassin, but he's more of a bruiser. He brings a lot to the table in the jungle. Early game, he's got really strong ganks, just bursting people down to about 50% by himself. And Ezreal right now is still a good AD carry, despite being hit by a plethora of nerfs. He's still one of the strongest AD carries. He's still in the top 3.
Yeah,
So Ezreal, again, makes a lot of sense as a pickup, especially with Sona.
yeah, I think one of the things about Ezreal up against this composition particularly, where you have a Mumu and you have MF, is that with Iceborne Gauntlet, which you can put on Ezreal pretty well, he can kite very effectively. He can keep that Mumu who's going to be constantly trying to get an engagement on him at a great deal of distance and, just kind of keep him contained. Obviously holding back that Arcane Shift to get out if Mumu goes for the bandage toss. Yeah, Ezreal could do some pretty good. He's a safe pick basically for an AD carry right now, and what against this type of team composition, that seems like a very good pickup. And yeah, Wukong and Lulu on top of that. A Mumu Wukong is great, obviously, because you have the Amumu CC, which you can then chain into the Wukong CC, and with the Lulu CC on top of that, which you can put on the Wukong or the Amumu to knock up everyone around it, and then you have an MF ult collapsing in on top of that. So there is a lot of AoE damage coming in there and a lot of AoE CC there.
Yeah, they have multiple pathways into the team fight as well. That being from the Mumu, the Wukong as well, and even Lulu to some extent can really just get in there and then just enter in ultimates. Absolutely crazy, and a nice pickup by the other team, which will be Ernst&Young. Olaf, basically to cut through the CC with Ragnarok. Lux as well to try and kite them around. So now they're looking for this composition. They may have started off thinking we want this AoE composition, and then as the picks progress, Lux makes a lot of sense just to try and keep them at bay. And as we were talking before with the Iceborne Gauntlet on Ezreal, they should be able to keep them at arm's length and then have Lux just lay into them.
Yeah, they have a lot of kind of poke, and they have that disengage from Lee Sin, that counter engage from Sona. Yeah, this actually works out pretty well for them. Because one of the things about an AoE composition against Lux is that, firstly, the shield does double time. It's pretty fantastic, actually, and it's very much underestimated. A good Lux shield, though, will, give your whole team a good 300-400 extra health. And the other thing is that if they all pile in, that entire team just, goes for this massive AoE composition, then they're going to be taking one Lux ultimate to the face. It's a lot of damage. And then finally picking up that Jace. Doesn't really fit so much with the theme of the rest of the team. It's not a misfit per se. I mean, he has that acceleration gate. Actually, that's probably why acceleration gate Q combo, which will obviously add a bit of AoE to it. But acceleration gate is probably the main reason, that AoE team haste, which will allow them to be much better and engaging. A strong pickup, I think. And so now we're just going to be going into the picks.
Yeah, so they have picked up the champions, and they've also banned out. They're just going to go into tournament draft. That will allow them to, of course, use pause, which is always helpful in this type of game mode. They will be going through this very quickly right now. So I'm just going to take a moment to maybe think about that Jace and Olaf matchup. Olaf, I would probably say, is a pretty good pick against Jace, and Jace picked in slot lane purely because of that reckless swing. Should allow him to keep up in those sorts of engagements where Jace likes to just come in to the skies and knock them away with Thundering Blow, usually allowing him to just come out with a really safe engagement. But Olaf really puts a cog in the works.
Yeah, because if he jumps onto Olaf, Olaf is just going to have the time to reckless swing him before he gets knocked back. Even as long as he starts the animation, it'll land, and that is pretty much going to outtrade Jace's E now that it's been nerfed. So you may actually see Jace going for a shock blast maxing strategy where he just tries to poke Olaf out with his autos and his obviously his Q. We will be seeing. One thing I will never see a Jace do, I suspect, is maxing W, because the hammer form is nigh on worthless. I like to refer to it as the tickle field. And his W in range form is nice, but unless he's building quite a lot of AD, and possibly even some crit, it's not really going to be doing that much work. But yeah, against Olaf, it's just if Olaf can land the undertow on him. Certainly early on, Jace is going to have an advantage. But if Olaf can start to get a few levels and then start landing undertow, he will be able to probably close or at least force out the swing from the knockback from Jace. And if you can get while that swings on cooldown, if you can get in close, then he's going to make Jace pay very, very much. It's going to hurt a lot because Olaf's damage at close range is just crazy. Especially if the enemy tries to fight back, actually, because then he loses health and gets even more attack speed.
Yes, indeed. So, we're ticking down to about 2 seconds right now. We will be hitting the delay very shortly. And yeah, so I'm just looking at the team in general. They are looking to keep them at arm's length, that being from Ernst&Young. And great wave clear as well from the Ezreal and Lux ultimate. They can probably play the stalling game. Lee Sin's looking for that early game dominance. They have a really nice gank lane bottom. Olaf also likes ganks as well. The Undertow's really nice into a ton of damage from that Reckless Swing. And yeah, I quite like their early and mid game.
Yeah, they've got good setups for Lee Sin. Having that, every single lane has some CC of its own, and in fact, in most of those cases, they either have spammable or multiple sources of it. You know, they have that Sona with the E on the power chord for early ganks, and obviously they have her ultimate once she hits 6. Ezreal, not so much, but obviously he's an AD carry. Very rarely do they have CC. Lux, obviously, has the slow from her E, has the Q, which is a bind. Can be a little bit difficult to land, but if Lee Sin can get in and land slow, it becomes much, much easier. And obviously Olaf has Undertow, could be duked, but if he can pick up the X, he'll obviously have very, very spammable Qs. And so now I'm trying to think, and actually we've got Jace running Teleport too, which is an interesting proposition. He is actually quite a good character for going for a roaming gank. Obviously, he could also be a good split pusher late game, since Jace scales pretty well and does like quite a lot of farm, especially if he builds AD carry, although I would not expect him to under the circumstances. Typically, you see Jace's build for fairly kind of bruiserish. They might build a Bloodthirster or a Trinity Force or something, but generally they build fairly tanky.
Yeah, of course, that might be looking to augment their team fights or the ability to get into team fights, so they're constantly together, forcing those objectives. Because in a straight-up team fight, they probably have the upper hand with that AoE composition, which is just absolutely crazy. Then again, if you get into that team fight, Ernst and Young have a nice sort of team composition, just even if they do get initiated on, to just kind of keep them away. Sona ultimate, Crescendo coming down, with Lee Sin's Dragon's Rage coming out, with Ezreal's Arcane Shift, and if he picks up the Iceborne Gauntlet, which is basically core on Ezreal right now. Then you've got Lux, who's fairly good at kiting, and then Ragnarok's right there as well. So every character, every part of their team is able to just still maneuver around this massive team fight AoE composition from Microsoft.
Yeah, and they have pretty good picking potential too. Every single one of them is a pretty good duelist and has quite a bit of burst. Pretty good range actually as well, but that's not the main thing when you're looking to pick off a single person. So Jace going for a kind of split pushing strategy might be quite risky because they are obviously quite mobile. They have all those speed ups and blinks on their team. But obviously if they don't go for that split push, it could be that what they want that teleport for is to counter split pushing. What they want it is to stop, that four-man team in mid with you having, say, Ezreal, Lux, and Sona and Olaf holding off the push from the entire enemy team, and then having someone like Lee Sin pushing down a side lane. So they want to be able to have someone who is able to respond in that situation, in an emergency, pulling him down from that lane to counteract that push. And obviously there's comparatively little response to that kind of play. They do have Ezreal, of course, which can, when that kind of thing is going the other way, who can give away, obviously stop and push that way, but it's not quite as reliable as teleporting in a member, although it has a much shorter cooldown.
Something that I have neglected to notice for quite a long time is that they don't have an AP carry, that being Microsoft. They have Wukong in there instead. So we have two ADs right there, and I'm looking at the AP damage. They have a Mumu, they have a bit from Misfortune, and maybe a bit from Lulu as well, but it's not very much. Basically, they're really looking for that early game, mid game, where they get those armor penetration items, and probably from the runes and masteries as well, to try and get that early game dominance. Because if they get into that sort of later mid game lacking the AP, or even like into that mid game lacking AP, it might hurt them.
Yeah, it could do, although Wukong is probably the best character for Black Cleaver.
Yeah.
Almost of anyone. Because his ultimate ticks. I don't know how fast it ticks, but it ticks damage very fast, has an amazing AD ratio, and a pretty strong base damage too. And obviously, if you have that Black Cleaver, he's going to hit an entire enemy team, shred all of their armor to 30% of what it was. And if your characters then have, say, a Last Whisper on theirs, piercing another 40% of that, it's not going to be 70% because that's not how maths works, but it's going to be a lot less armor. And if you get the enemy's armor down to a point, it actually becomes inefficient. Building more armor becomes less worthwhile than just, say, building health. And if you're at that point, then having all those ADs on your team suddenly isn't so much of a problem for you. So I think that could well work for them. The question is really who's actually going to go mid? Is it going to be Wukong or is it going to be Jace? I doubt it'll be Jace actually, because Wukong would probably get destroyed by Olaf.
Yeah, Wukong typically has pretty weak laning phases as well, definitely in that top lane. As long as he can get out that laning phase, he's generally good to go. But again, there's a laning phase of Wukong. It's not terrible, but it could be better. And he has a nice kit for kind of staying alive with the decoy as well, and his E, of course. So maybe looking at this invade potentially from Ernst&Young, and even Microsoft as well, actually.
You'll see they've put down a ward at red buff, which is a very smart play right there. Might even be the Explorer ward? I don't know. But regardless, that is a smart ward because they've anticipated there could be an invade here. Having Lee Sin, having Lux, having Olaf, pretty strong level 1s. In fact, they've got a very strong level 1. One of the strongest I've seen for a while. And obviously, predicting that that could be utilized, they've warded their own red buff. They know what they're up to. And they're going to be going back to their blue now, I suppose. Have some fun there. Enjoy yourself. Obviously, it's going to be difficult to then move from red to blue. Although it looks like maybe they're thinking about contesting it.
Yeah, they might think that the top lane is going to recall very soon, and yes, we do have EX Coco going ahead and going back. This could be, this could turn very nasty for Ernst&Young very, very quickly with no one protecting their flank. They might just move up to this red buff, try and just collapse onto them as they start helping the jungler. We could have a level 1 fight very, very quickly as they burst out of the bush. Huge damage coming out of Fog. Fail flash into the wall. First blood picked up. Sona managed to get out of there. So we will have a Mumu picking up his red first, but still going to be very happy with that first blood.
Yeah, that was very, very nicely played. Just predicting exactly the mindset of your opposition. Microsoft there they knew that Olaf wasn't going to want to stick around if he was in that red buff position and he had to walk to his lane. That would be very, very costly. They couldn't see anything happening there, so he went back. Why not? Well, there's no great problem with it. Circling around, obviously, there from the angle, they knew they would probably do wraiths. There was, I suppose, a slight risk they could have been scouting out that corner, but I'm not surprised that they didn't predict that happening. And yeah, catching them out, getting that Ezreal before he could even get out with his flash, and I think he'd already taken his Q, which was possibly his downfall there.
Yeah, of course, that arcane shift into the flash is a very, very nice flash from that early game engagement, but alas, it did not help in that circumstance. Would like to point out that Wukong has indeed gone for 6 health potions, 1 mana potion, and a ward, not opting for the crystalline flask. Interesting, might be because flask has, of course, increased in price, and Jace can probably afford it since he got first blood. So, interesting investment, but of course the problem with going all in into that sustain is, okay, you'll get through it and you won't be pushed out, but it's delaying the rest of your build.
It does delay the rest of your build, but Wukong, he's a character that's interesting in that he doesn't need a lot of gold to do his job well, especially if he's going to be doing a lot of roaming and ganking once he's hit level 6, which I expect he will want to, because thinking about it, he has an excellent kit for it. He has stealth, gap closer, and knockup. AoE.
Hold that thought because you have Lee Sin looking for the gank on to Jace, but he should be out of it here. Thundering Blow comes down into the safeguard as well, but he should be just fine.
Yeah, and as I say, Wukong could be an excellent roaming ganker, and it's going to be down to Lux to do a lot of damage to him, shutting him down in this lane, which that sustain will help him get through. If his aim really is just to get the rest of his team fed, though, Wukong can do it so long as he has enough XP to get to level 6 as soon as possible.
Yeah,
Can be
Wukong has really, really strong base damages, and as long as he can get to that point, that's the thing with an AoE composition in general, they usually have really nice base damages, so it's just the fact that you have that composition there and ready, just creates a lot of pressure in itself. So maybe that basically is what they're looking for. Meanwhile, bottom, I predict a very, very aggressive lane, like Ezreal, all four of those characters look to be aggressive in that lane. At the moment, it looks like Misfortune and Luna are gaining the upper hand, but... And then we have the harassment from Jace at top as well. Both not actually responding with the reckless swing though.
Yeah, that's it's possible the animation on Reckless Swing is too long, but I doubt it. It could just be that he was caught off guard. Can happen very, very often. In fact, every time I try to play Olaf, I can't land a Reckless Swing for beans, but it's because it's actually an incredibly short range. I think it might only be auto attack range, so it's short. And we've actually got Lee Sin coming in at top here. He's landed a Q onto Jace, going to be following that up, getting knocked back though. Landed the slow from Cripple, but he's not going to be able to take this out. Reckless Swing does land. But we've actually got the Shock Blast coming back in, and Jace looking to do a little bit more poke. Not going to go all in there.
Yeah, of course Olaf in that situation wanted to get a bit extra damage. He had Reckless Swing coming off cooldown, wanted to do some more, but it was not quite worth the trade. Meanwhile, bottom, we do have a movement looking for that lane guy. I doubt that I've seen him. He's in that brush at the moment. Don't have that warded. This could turn very nasty for that Ernst&Young bot lane. We do have Ezreal down there. If anyone's going to die, it's going to be Sona as she tries to one whiffing the bandage toss. My Fleeting Dream taking huge amounts of damage as well from Man of Steel. And they should be good to go, so nothing going to happen.
In mid, meanwhile, we've got the binding landing onto the decoy of Wukong. He managed to slip out of there. Slippery sword, Wukong. He's like a fish. He's a monkey.
Monkey fish.
Monkey fish. Monkfish.
Monkfish.
He's a monkey fish. Because he's sort of a monk-ish sort of thing, isn't that?
Monk-ish? He's monk-ish fish.
He's a monkish fish. Right. So in the game, there are things happening which aren't fish, monk. I want this. There should be a monk skin for Fizz or Nami. I always forget Nami exists, and it looks like Riot has to. It is true though. To be fair, Nami came out with like no fanfare at all. I don't like everyone's. She's not a bad character. It's just everyone seems to have forgotten about her.
Lee Sin, that was a flash like you just did.
Oh dear.
Hopefully no one notices. I mean,
nobody saw that. Accidents happen.
No fact.
So at the moment there's not a huge amount going on in the game. They're just kind of generally looking to farm up at the moment. A lot of people have gone back in this opportunity. There's not many objectives that can be contested. And, Wukong is maybe looking to find a gank opportunity somewhere, but because bot lane went back, he's just going to be sticking around in mid, taking a little bit more harass and popping more pot. So I'm actually interested to know how much gold Wukong has in actual fact, as opposed to how much the game thinks he has, because the game does not count gold that you have consumed with pots as gone. It still adds it to your total. So assuming he's used about 9 potions, that's in the region of 300 gold less. That's quite significant cost.
It is, but the cost of getting through the lane phase is another thing. Lee Sin looking for the gank in mid, ultimately coming down from Wukong as well, keeping alive just for a second, whiffing the Q. We have a Moon coming in from the side as well, will land the bandage toss. This could be the initiate they want. Moon does not have the ultimate, that would have been a kill on Lee Sin as the Ignite goes down as well. Harmonious Fist just ticking down from the despair. But Ninetime will be leaving Wukong dicey. He should be good to go.
That laser.
Dicing with death.
Yeah, that's always the thing with Lux. When you play a little mini game when you've gotten really, really low, it looks like a move is actually going to take the opportunity to counter jungle. Pretty smart move. Lux is out of mana and hence most worthless, and yeah, not going to be there in time. Say goodbye to your blue buff, sir. And also means they can probably give a blue buff to either Wukong or Jace.
Yeah, that's really going to just make the laning phase just explode. I mean, Wukong with that blue buff against a Lux with no blue buff, he's going to be able to initiate on there basically whenever he wants, and that's going to be like a pretty solid blow to Lux's mana pool. Over the course of just a couple of minutes, that's really going to wear her down. So, yeah, we could see that play made by Microsoft pretty shortly. So far, there's only been one kill going down in the game, but neither team really wants to get aggressive. Lee Sin wants those ganks to happen, but generally these lanes are pretty hard to gank. What can you do against the Thundering Blow from Jace? You have Wukong, who's basically got the decoy, and bot lane, you've got Lulu with the Glyphalon. It's very, very difficult to gank, and he might maybe be looking for a gank at some point, but we do have Lee Sin counter-jungling Microsoft, so that.
Yeah, it looks like he's possibly going to be ganking top. I just don't see it happening, though, honestly. The lane is a little bit too pushed, and Jace is a little bit too safe. And actually, we've got him going all in onto Olaf here, possibly taking the bait a little too far. Q goes in and lands onto Jace. He's going to be walking away, though. Neither of those two going down, he says, rather strangely. Neither.
Neither.
But neither of those two. I'm bad at accents, by the way, in case you couldn't tell. Have you ever tried to do that kind of accent? I don't even know what it's called. I'm just calling it that kind. Neither. Farmer, I guess. But anyway,
how are sheep? What?
Sheep are fine. I feel like that's a kind of out of context quote you could just have. My sheep are fine.
My secret code. It's like
the eagle has landed. My sheep are fine. So anyway, not a huge amount going on at the moment, as you can tell by the fact we're blithering on about nothing. And we have Ezreal. Is on 72 CS. We have MF, who's on 75, and is going for a very teamfight orientated build. You can see she's going for Black Cleaver, which means she's putting a lot of her power into her ultimate, because that deals a lot of physical damage very fast, and she doesn't even have a point in her E, which surprises me.
Meanwhile, we do have the Crescendo going down to my facing tree, maybe looking to disengage, Plague backing off here, and this could just be them backing off again, and turning into absolutely nothing as they carry on farming.
Well, that does mean that Sona's ultimate is down, and that's actually a huge deal because Lulu and MF still have theirs. It means they can get a little bit more aggressive, although obviously they are lower on health at the moment, because they have the CC and they have the damage right now on their opponent. Obviously, if they can get Plow poked down a little bit, then something could happen. And Mumu actually getting caught in the jungle, and we've got the Wukong coming in from the side. Ultimate popped. Doesn't look like anyone's going to go down. He jumped over the wall into the Wukong ultimate there, nearly caught out, but not knocked up for long enough to hold down Lee Sin, because he is also fish and very, very slippery.
Meanwhile, Olaf appears and is just coming in to assist farming. We do have Misfortune flashing up red. Should be okay though, but they've got to be pretty careful. And then again, Crescendo's not up. Also, I would like to point out the fact that we do have triple Brutalizer coming from Microsoft. Ultimate coming down from Misfortune just cleared the wave, and we'll probably look to go back very, very shortly.
Like that item is very strong or something.
I don't know, man.
I've never been a believer in being too strong of an item, Brutalizer, considering it was pretty much worth building before, and then armor was nerfed, and then penetration was buffed, and then there were a lot of things that made Brutalizer a much better pickup, and yet it was still just about a viable item beforehand. So yeah, Brutalizer is a strong item right now. Don't know if you knew. Triple Brutalizer, anyway, you wouldn't normally see an AD carry building Brutalizer though, but as I say, it's Misfortune. She's going for that super ultimate which will apply Black Lead stacks, and Mumu is being chased by the minions, by his golems. Look at these minions, what are they doing?
Let them go.
They have, these are the genius minions. They've learned to bypass the towers.
Determined.
Taking our jobs. So, yeah, minions. Minions are clever things, sometimes. I'm trying to look at lanes, but really none of the lanes have a big CS disparity, and actually that's an impressive part on Wukong, being a melee character against that Lux. He isn't really sort of engaging on her and winning trades too well, but at the same time, he's not really losing out farm either, now that he is obviously chewed through a few pots.
So he has made it through that teamfight phase. Still not too much happening, but I probably do expect a teamfight to erupt at Drake fairly shortly. You do expect to see that around the 11 to maybe 15 minute mark. And plus Jace has that teleport as well, so you might well maybe look for that gank on bottom, get a pick, go for that teamfight. They've got to be careful though, because of that Jace having that teleport. It's going to make it very difficult for Ernst&Young to actually make the play. It's really just in the hands of Microsoft at the moment, dictating how the game's going to go.
We've got Wukong and Amumu sneaking towards The Ernst blue buff. Lux trying to pick it up before this fight
Have
happens.
found them, however. Nighttime coming in, popping down towards the side of the bomb. He could take out Lee Sin. He's safeguards to look, keeping himself alive. Here, Fog coming in from the side. Met Misfortune. Rex coming back in onto Nighttime, doing quite a lot of damage. Picking up that kill very quickly. Ultimate over the wall from Misfortune as well. Hominis missing the ultimate. Maybe getting a kill onto Plog and forcing that Wukong back. Nice for on straight onto that Wukong once again. And Harmonious Fist trying to get out of there. Should be safe on the shield. However, Plog moving back and will be picking up the double kill onto Amumu's Fleeting Dreams, trying to get out there along with Misfortune, and that will be a 2-for-1 trade.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. I thought Lux had died. I was about to correct you. That's interesting. And they could possibly get the dragon. Actually, no, they can't. They don't have enough health, and they don't have their jungler around. So they're not going to be picking up that dragon yet. So I expect them actually to reconverge around that pretty quickly, though, because Amumu has vision over it, essentially, because Microsoft has that ping ward down there, and they could probably, let me just check. No, they can't actually see that sight ward. So they might even think that that's not a warded area. That dragon could try to go for a play over the wall. Although, honestly, that would, to be fair, they wouldn't be able to see that either with that ward. But they could go for a play going around it and possibly being seen on the way. Essentially, they pull dragon out, they will be revealing themselves, though.
Looks like Lee Sin may want to push this turret in, obviously pushing down the bottom turret, removes that safe haven, so they can make that play onto Drake, which I believe they want to make happen. Nighttime is doing a decent job keeping himself there, though, and landing the Q. Moment when you just don't know where you want to actually click or not. But another thing to point out is the fact that Amumu has opted for the Catalyst of the Protector, so he might be looking for that Rod of Ages, maybe going sort of tanky AP to kind of make up the fact they didn't have an AP mid.
I tell you what he could be doing, though. He could be going for Ohm Wrecker. So that builds out a Catalyst. Could be going for like a super dive-heavy team, because if they can start a fight under the enemy tower and the enemy tower is disabled, they get the chance to use their AoE.
Oh, he said this is not a good place to be. We do have Wukong jumping onto him. Does he have the ultimate? Yes, he does. Cyclone coming down. Good flash by Rex. Another flash from Nighttime. War jump as well. He's actually waiting in the brush. We immediately finish off. Not sure what his plan was there. Harmonious Fist trying to get out as well. We'll be keeping him at bay with that bomb.
I'm guessing he was hoping for the Dragon's Rage. I don't know that for a certainty, but that's the only thing I could think of that would be... I've got to be honest, it looked like something out of some of the fail casts.
Indeed.
And Lee Sin walked into the bush and stood still.
Olaf going man mode. He will have the Ragnarok. I'm not convinced he can save the turret. Also coming down from Lux as well. And he may in a dodgy position, but again, Ragnarok will keep him alive.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things with Olaf, because you think, I could possibly kill him, but he'll probably just Ragnarok out. Sucks. I won't bother. Whatever. Not worth it, really. And we've actually got a disconnect here. Rekt he's gone.
He's reconnected immediately.
Oh, okay. Fair enough then. Maybe he just had a graphics bug or something. And we're actually seeing towers dropping all over the map right now. There's a lot less control, essentially, now on the map. So, a lot less safe areas.
And we could see this gang coming down bottom. Ragnarok's being popped along with Ghost. My Fleeting Dream not in a fun position. They're all actually juking backwards. Maybe not certain of what was around the corner. But nothing happening at the moment. The Harmonious Fist briefly in a bad position. Also coming down fast spot. And there's the combo picking up that kill very, very quickly. This could be a team fight opener. And Wukong's not looking for this though. It is 4v5, but again, the AoE composition. Lee Sin's not in the area as well. Ace there, but maybe just looking to move on to this Drake right now. Even so, Lee Sin's still not there.
Right now you're seeing this disengage though. You're seeing Olaf just throwing axes back at them. It's going to stop them from closing, but it's probably not going to stop them from taking Dragon if they want it. Although maybe they don't want it. And we've actually reports going in. Probably Rekt, I'd guess. Maybe he's having some issues and that's why he's not joining the team. If he's lagging or something. Yep, hello lag.
There we go. Alright, so I think we'll take another look at Microsoft's sort of team composition. So it maybe looks like he's going for that Rod of Ages right now. And yeah, I mean, I would have liked them to pick up their own record, honestly, because that would make a huge amount of sense, because they can force those team fights, and with a composition where you want those team fights to happen, basically allowing your team to open up more opportunities, or have more opportunities available to them is just a thing that you want.
Yeah, it's essentially they're playing hard engage AoE versus kind of disengage and poke. So having the ability to engage wherever they want just suits their team so down to the ground. I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised because nobody builds Own Wrecker and everyone forgets it even exists. But I wouldn't be surprised if I saw it built because it's actually a really excellent item in this kind of situation. And also, by the way, to Sekira, because he is our streamer for today. Hello, thank you for doing that. You will have to press jump to live after the pause concludes, otherwise you might be having a slight delay.
Yes,
Right.
indeed, and I'll be doing that right now. Well, the
Yep.
quirks are spectator mode, along
It is,
with invisible dragons, among
it's
other
a lot
things.
less quirky than PvP.net. Ooh.
And before
I will
swings
never,
in the
I will
caveat
never
spam.
stop. I love you really, Ryan.
This could be a team fight opening very quickly, but again, the disengage. If they don't want the fight to happen, Ernst&Young isn't going to let it happen. The Undertow and Lux in general, her entire kit just pushes them away. It's going to be very, very difficult unless they catch them off guard. Misfortune's going to go ahead and go back to base. And yeah, again, nothing happens. If they don't want something to happen, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, so as a result of that, they're probably going to be the strategy for Microsoft is going to be to try and force something. Now they can try and force objectives. They can try and force Dragon. They can try and force Baron later on. Obviously, right now Baron is out of the question, short of somehow acing the entire enemy team while remaining on full health, which I don't think is going to happen probably, but you never know. They can also force towers, and this disengage composition is a lot stronger when they're all as a group, or at least where they have a few key players with them. When they have Ezreal and Olaf, for instance, when they have Lux and Ezreal, when they have Lux and Olaf, those are kind of the three main pokers and disengagers here. And obviously, with them in a given place, it's going to be nearly impossible to push it. So if they can try and split them up, if they can try and split push, for instance, having Jace go top and being ready to teleport if a fight happens, that will give Microsoft the opportunity to try and get a chance to use their team composition properly. And obviously they can try and poke down these towers too, which is what MF is doing a little bit of there. Just a little tap on side there. While this is going on, now it actually looks like it is Ernst and Young's chance to try and force a fight, and it looks like Microsoft will be disengaging because Jace is pressuring top, and that's split pushing down there for you. But they're going to take
Yeah.
Dragon.
Of course, to remember, Jace has that teleport. They will be moving on to Dragon. They know Jace is pushing top. They want an engagement to happen where it's 4v5. Jace won't be in for a couple seconds. There's the ward coming down. Here's the team fight as well. There's the Zap Mummy into the Misfortune also as well. Breaking part of the enemy team. That will be Sona going down, however, with another kill onto a Mumu Lulu. And maybe the kill onto Olaf as well. They chase down the rest of the enemy team. That will be 3 for 2 so far. And Jace is still there as well. 2 versus 3. They will be disengaging.
Yep, and it looks like Ernst and Young picked up the Dragon, so they have come out ahead on gold quite significantly, actually. Put them about 1,000 gold ahead in total. I'm not sure what the difference was before that fight, but I don't think it was too huge. 1,000 gold isn't massive, but it is pretty nice. And actually with Ezreal now, doing pretty much the standard build now, I think, for Ezreal. Bloodthirster going straight into Iceborne Gauntlet, and that is going to make him a kiting machine.
Yeah.
It's a real pain to deal with, actually. But I hate playing against Iceborne Gauntlet Ezreal.
Is the worst thing. Oh my god, yeah. Horrible, absolutely horrible. However, in that team fight, I'm surprised it didn't go better for Microsoft because they landed all the ultimates. Maybe not on as many people as they wanted it to, and they were slightly spread apart. But even so, that was probably as good as you would want to get it. And Ernst&Young just came out way ahead.
Yeah, it was somewhat an aspect of the fact that Jace did teleport in, but he was a little bit away, a little bit slow to get into the fight. And obviously, he hasn't. Jace right now with his build hasn't hit like prime time. He's going to get. Actually, there's a fight going on at the top. We've got Jace and Wukong going in onto Olaf. He's just going to be popping Ghost and running away though. So Jace has actually gone for Manamune. And that really does synergize very well with his W. When it hits Muramana stage and he can burn his mana in order to get that extra damage very, very quickly. He'll get 3 procs from the Muramana in what, a second and a quarter or something. And yeah, that's nasty. Seeing them going, possibly looking for an engagement here. Not quite able to reach. So yeah, Muramana, when Jace has actually managed to farm that up, he can do that.
Cyclone being told by Wukong, however, nice binding from Lux, and this could go very badly wrong. And they will be engaging onto the clone. And that was a very, very dead clone.
That clone sure did die. It died. Yeah. It very died. Unfortunately, it was a clone, so it only got them 25 gold. And I'm not even sure they got that because it was on about 100 health when they realized and didn't kill it. But, yeah, they kind of dodged a bullet there because Wukong effectively wasted his ultimate. And without that, they don't want that team fight so much suddenly. Even in an equal number situation, they possibly won't come out ahead if they don't have that Wukong ultimate. He wasted it, and they suddenly didn't want to be there anymore. They managed to get out, and I think they were possibly a little lucky that they landed that on that decoy. I don't know. Decoy obviously is Foxy. It's Monkey. It's Foxy, and obviously it flummoxed Lux. Damn it, no.
English. How does it work? But this is kind of a dodgy situation for Microsoft to be in because they have several factors that they need. They need to wait for all their ultimates, and then they need an engagement. And when the enemy team, that being Ernst&Young, gets ahead, they have the type of composition that if they get ahead, one, they can dictate when they want those team fights to happen, and two, if the enemy team, that being Microsoft, want that engagement to happen, they can just run away. So no negative engagement can happen. At the moment, it's still even, but it can quickly snowball out of control. They want team fights to happen right now, and that is indeed a rod of ages picked up by Amumu.
Pretty uncommon choice. I can't say that I hate it. I mean, he's got it relatively early, but I'm still not sure I like it. It's not a very efficient item when you first pick it up. Amumu at this stage of the game, yeah, he likes to get a bit of extra mana, and Olaf is possibly looking to take that top tower from Amumu, who's not going to be able to hold that. But yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be a good item basically late game, fully stacked, but it's not going to be a great item late game, and there are quite a lot of opportunity costs associated with getting it. Maybe it'll work out, but I would have preferred to see Ohm Wrecker, but that's just because I want to see Ohm Wrecker at some point.
Yeah, likewise. Just, yeah.
Yepers. So, if you wanted a mana item, I guess, what's better for mana on Amumu, really? Frozen Heart, really.
Yeah.
Would work pretty well, especially against an entire, well, not an entire AD team.
He said that will be the pick. He wanted to jump to Sona, and
yeah.
Wondering Blow says no.
Suddenly you have been killed. An enemy has been slain. An ally. But someone's been slain. So, what you're seeing right there, is these things getting picked and dying. But what you're actually seeing, obviously, both teams can get picks. Both teams can pick somebody off when they're moving between the lanes relatively easily. They, obviously, a stun from Amumu, a stun from Lulu, a knockback from GA, slows all round. They both teams have the CC necessary to hold one person in place. It generally is going to be more costly for Microsoft to do it, and it's going to be harder for them to follow it up because they're probably going to have to use one or more of their teamfight ultimates to do it, unless they get a 5-on-1 situation where they can just nuke someone. Obviously, on the other hand, if someone's caught by a Lux binding, that's only going to be a 10-second cooldown, and by the time the person is dead, that cooldown is going to be back up again. They'll be ready to start fighting again, so they can pressure objectives more if they get those picks. We'll see if that proves to be a major issue, though, of course, because if you pick up a kill, then obviously, teamfight ultimate or not, you're still going to be in an advantageous fight if it comes to one afterwards. They're just not going to be in as advantageous of a fight.
Yeah. So right now, a teamfight could erupt, but it's just looking for this catalyst to happen, really. I mean, Drake is up, Iceborne Gauntlet. Do have Olaf being squirreled briefly. again, it's just a very sort of pokey sort of dance-off until someone wants it to happen. And Mumu really wants to engage favourably with that sort of Sad Mummy opening it up. But again, Iceborne Gauntlet going to make it very, very difficult for them to do so. Wukong again looking for another Abu for an initiate. Olaf again making it very difficult, just putting himself in between the rest of the enemy team, and they can't even dent Olaf right now with that Warmogs and the Sunfire Cape as well. Just doesn't care.
And the Ninja Tabby.
And
Yeah,
the
he
Ninja
has
Tabby, yeah.
nearly 200 armor. If he pops his ultimate, he will have over 200 armor. He's not going down in a hurry. He's got, what, 3,500 health? Am I reading that right?
Yes.
Wow.
That's ridiculous.
Compare that to Lux. He has 2,000 health over her. Although it does look like Microsoft may be looking to bait a fight at blue. Nope, they're going to be going for dragon. That makes a lot more sense, to be honest, because if they didn't saw where they went, and if they didn't see them appear at bot lane, they could place a pretty good guess. They'd be baiting the fight.
Yeah, but this team fight's going to happen with a lot of Microsoft on low HP. They want this to happen. Jace may be in a bad position. Good Flash keeping himself alive. And the Glyphalons will potentially stave away that Lee Sin of Iceborne Gauntlet coming in as well. And he should be able to get out of here. Sona just buffing them with more movement speed, but good disengage by Microsoft, picking up that dragon with no casualties.
Yep, they just about managed to get that. They used a couple of summoner spells. MF had to flash over the wall because the fight started with her pressed up against the wall with Olaf running at her. Had to burn her flash, and that's sort of the horrible... If she hadn't had flash there, it would have been the worst situation for an AD carry. But having been forced to retreat like that, they are going to lose that tower and wreck disconnects again. It's always a pain when you have technical issues going on. Still, they obviously haven't been forced out of that fight on such low health. Having to go back means free to pick up a couple of towers, maybe only the one. It looks like there will be a response in time. And also, by the way, I just noticed Triple Brutalizer has evolved into Triple Black Cleaver.
Indeed. Well, they will definitely be getting those 4 stacks on everyone.
Yeah, it'll only take, what, 1 tick from everyone? It only stacks up to 4, actually. It stacks up to 4, not 3. Okay. So, they only have to be hit by 1 thing from each person. Wow. That's going to apply very, very quickly, but there is a problem with that in that Black Cleaver, if you don't have the shred, essentially, from it, because other players are doing it for you, if you don't have that, then it's not a very efficient item. Like, it's an alright item, but it's not great. And I'm going to jump to live again. I'm going to have a glitch where that tower... Oh, wait, no. Is that a... No, yes, that is a glitch where that tower is on 0 health, but still standing.
Awesome.
Yep, good. It's cool. I don't like seeing Rebel anyway. Or knowing what's going on.
I'd rather look at the turret.
Yeah, they are majestic beasts, of which we will not see the front on the blue side. We will never see.
It's not a cow. It's a pig. Majestic pig.
Boar. I'm going to call it a boar. It's got tusks. So
majestic boar.
Majestic boar roar.
Anywho.
I think that's one of Volibear's abilities is Majestic Bear Roar or Song.
Majestic Roar, I think. So we can just call it Majestic Boar from now on.
Yeah, Majestic Boar.
Yeah.
Volibear is going to use Majestic Boar and ride into battle like the it's not
still
very...
viable.
Harsh. Maybe she's viable. Maybe you just don't know. Hater. I don't like Sidoni either, but, So what we're seeing right now is just kind of everyone forming up for the next team fight. Olaf is going to walk past the non-existent tower, which is going to keep confusing me, because it's even showing up on the mini-map as being alive. It just isn't. And looks like they're going to go back to this poke dance in mid, because honestly they don't have that many other options. I mean, the last time they tried that split pushing tactic with Jace, yes, he arrived on C, but he arrived a little bit late, and I'm not sure any of them are even carrying any wards at this point. 2 Sightstone wards from Ulu, but nothing too special about that. So Yeah, he'll be...
Oh, and the Mumu landing the ultimate in the Custard Stab Mummy as well, into the Fortune ultimate as well, into the Cyclone. We've got the Crescendo coming down with the immediate pick as Olaf tries to do some damage to the rest of the team. There's only our 4 people, but being taken down in return. Wukong finds himself in a very dodgy position. Lee Sin looking to follow up, gets the kill, knocked away by the Thundering Blow. Nighttime picking him back up with the bandages toss, and now Harmonious Fist coming in from the side as well. Lulu just keeping herself away.
If MF walks past Ward, she's in danger. The moment Lux gets vision...
Problems arise. And that was a 4-for-1 trade.
That was an excellent trade, actually. And I think part of the reason was just because it caught everyone off guard. Oh, Jace! She's still alive! She didn't have her E, she'd been using it to farm. That's a pity. That
What was
awkward
the farm
moment
worth?
reverse mage. No, but she didn't know it was coming. Oh well. Woe is she, I'm sure.
These things happen.
These things happen. So yeah, that was a really good trade there, and partly that was just because Ezreal got taken out of the fight very, very quickly. He managed to sort of escape, but as a result of him being on maybe 10% health, escape from a movie that is, having been on about 10% health, he was left so far back that he wasn't really contributing all that much damage, and then he got dived and taken out towards the middle of the fight without having really contributed all that much. But still, that fight went very much in the favor of Microsoft. And with that advantage, they are going to not be able to do all that much because they took too much damage in return. So, probably going to be going back to the Poke War. I imagine said Poke War will start happening around Baron fairly shortly. And by the way, Jace is level 18. Lulu is level 12.
He's definitely been farming. 261 right now. That's pretty decent for this stage in the game, as much as Ezreal.
Do you know what else Jace has?
Well, he has Sword of Evil.
He does have that. That is the thing that he has.
Baron.
Oh, indeed, Russian Baron. Olaf is aware.
Olaf sees them. He's quite tanky. He's able to stay in the area quite a long time. Nighttime still getting wailed on by Baron. They know this has been warded. And Olaf just once again leading the charge. They do want this engagement to happen, and they're actually turning this around and starting Baron themselves. It is on about 30% HP. We might be able to burst it in time, and they're not really contesting at all. They don't want this to happen. Mumu in the front lines. That will be the Baron coming down. This could be a nasty turnaround as we have the Cyclone into the Curse of Sad Mummy, into Bullet Time as well, taking everyone apart. However, we have the Bruisers right up in the carry spaces. Meanwhile, we have Misfortune being taken out, and they will be turning this one around. Jace wants to get out of here very quickly, but it's not going to happen. Wukong's still in there with Olaf, who's still looking very angry, and Lulu will be trying to leave. Rex wants to land this view, but just going to miss by a fraction of a teammate.
Yeah, I think what happened there was Microsoft were a little bit caught off guard by the fact that Baron still hadn't regenerated all of its health. They expected they would have time to back off and then go back in again, but it was already dead by the time it happened. And then in the actual fight, it was essentially Bruiser's win, because both of the backlines were a little too eager to get to Baron, and so the Bruisers killed them. So you were left with Bruisers versus Bruisers, and Olaf is an unkillable god right now. He has 231 armor, 3,700 health. I don't even want to try and calculate what the effective health that is.
It's a lot.
What is 231 armor? It's 60-70% reduction?
Yeah.
So somewhere in the region of 7,000 effective health.
100 divided by 100 plus armor. Let me just get my calculator. But
yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot, basically.
Obviously,
it's a lot.
that's ignoring the penetration and reduction, but that's also ignoring his ultimate too. So
yeah,
plus 60 extra armor. That's a lot of armor.
Plus I got 4 now, so damage in return, quite a lot.
Oh hey, he picked up a brutalizer.
This damage item. But right now, in that team fight, it was interesting. Like, the Bruisers broke the front line very, very easily, but they got the full combination off with their AoE ultimates. I'm feeling right now that their team composition is kind of failing them, because the base damages that they get just from having those ultimate is not as much as it once was. Therefore, the composition they have, where they have these super strong Bruisers, everyone's pretty tank on the enemy team, they can just tank through the burst right now and then go for that team fight. I find that it's quite difficult, really, for Microsoft to do anything if their composition starts failing them.
The one thing I will say though is Nighttime must be doing a lot of damage with his despair to Amumu, to Olaf, because that's what percentage of Olaf's health? It's quite a bit, and obviously no magic resist to speak of on Olaf other than to give him 63, and he's already at 93. What the? Okay,
Yeah.
cancel that. He won't take that much damage from despair. He won't take that much damage from anything. I mean, look at that charged shot blast. He's already regenerated it nearly.
Yep, and he has.
Yeah. So, Donor obviously will take a little bit more damage. Oh, I guess he did have Baron buff too, so it's not surprising he regenerated it. But yeah, he is so tanky right now, and that is essentially his role in these fights, is just to charge in. I mean, Lee Sin is following up on that with another 3,000 health of his own. And I don't know how much armor he's got. 200. It's not bad, not bad. Yeah, that's quite a lot of armor. And I guess they've got Aegis of the Legion as well. Well, so tanky, so very tanky. And yeah, that is their strategy here.
Oh, Lulu, not in a position to be in, bursting down very quickly. Surprisingly, tanky Crescendo come down as well. Bit of overkill. But,
Oh wow,
Olaf I hate yours.
Olaf does not care about that tower at all. It just didn't even scratch him. I mean, I think he was shielded by Lux, and yeah, that is their strategy here. Essentially, Lee Sin, Olaf become unkillable, then disrupt this AoE composition by forcing them to blow ultimates, forcing them to blow cooldowns on people that won't die to them. And it's working out for them right now. Lulu being dead is going to make it very hard for them to engage, and with this kind of Olaf Destroyer of Worlds, they could very plausibly dive. It is obviously a very risky play to make, because if anyone other than Olaf and Lee Sin get caught in the CC under the tower, they will get shredded pretty quickly. But not looking like that's a problem for them right now.
So still getting confused by that turret. But yeah, definitely. The problem is, it's a fairly enclosed environment, and even though the ultimates have started to scale off, if they hit everything on everyone, it's still going to be extremely strong. And in those sort of, in those funnels, then that's going to happen fairly easily as well. So they might not want to go for it, and honestly, they're not in a rush to do so.
Also, Jace has one back on his Sword of the Occult.
Hang on.
Well played. I honestly have no idea why he built that. I mean, yes, he is 3-1 and 6, and he's doing fairly well, but Sword of the Occult is not a very good item, even if you manage to get like 12 or 13 stacks, because it's just flat AD. It doesn't give you any armor penetration, doesn't give you anything else like that. And obviously the 20 stack bonus is movement speed, which is nice, but it's not great. And in fact, he just sold it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed. I guess he just thought the game's going so well in their terms.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe. Oh well. Showboating gets you nowhere, son.
Unless you're Maxim.
Maxim. Yeah. Maxim. Well, he's a special case.
He's a special case. Allowed to do what he wants. And yeah, so the Warmock's being picked up by the team of Ernst&Young. That'll be picked up by Plague, who is Ezreal. Now everyone's tanky.
So they have, yeah, everyone. I wonder if Sona will pick up a Warmock. She's got a Ruby Crystal, so you know.
Possibly. It does increase quite drastically to that effect of health, especially with the Aegis. So, and of course there's no reason to really upgrade into Runic Bulwark, because you don't need the extra magic resist. Maybe against Mumu, but he's not really a massive factor right now in these team fights.
Yeah, that's true. It looks like they're just going to be continuing this dance, though. I don't know exactly when the Baron timer is for... Let me just check that. Baron Nashor 352 plus 7 is 4052. So, yeah, it will be coming up now. And
good
accidentally Zonya'd.
And this could be the team fight they want with Sandworm coming up into the Cyclone, into the ultimate from Misfortune. And Lux Laser coming in right now, picking the kill onto Olaf, the most tanky member of their team. And the move, that was not the best of life choices. Cloud trying to get out of there, and Iceborne Gauntlets will just keep them away. A 1-for-1 trade on both tanks.
No mercy for mispressed buttons. At that,
Engage!
quick, Lux is stuck in place. Amumu, get in position to ult her when she comes out of it. It was exactly the sort of fight they wanted. They essentially
Yeah.
caught the back line very much out of position. Who may have made a slight error there. But yes, that is one of the perils of accidentally Zonyazing.
Sonya
Zonying?
Zing. The
Zonying.
term.
Zonying! Sounds like another language. I don't
Probably.
know.
It's probably an insult as well.
Yes. Yes, you host. Wait, no. No. Self-referential jokes to videos that haven't even been posted yet. Bah.
Haven't even been fully done yet.
Yeah, we haven't even finished recording. We did half of it before this cast, and we're going to do the other half afterwards. Because we are terrible at punctuation. I mean, no, we're excellent. Hire us.
Jace, you haven't... Okay, good. Have cleared that last lizard.
Yeah,
Horrible my OCD.
This is bothering my OCD. My OCD considers itself bothered. Fix it.
And I just do like a really weird noise.
Anyway, we're now
once again.
getting towards the point of the game where, honestly, both teams are heading towards full build, frankly. The supports obviously still are retaining some item slots for wards, and Lee Sin is also doing the same thing. He's picked up a Ruby Sidestone, which I actually quite like on jungle Lee Sin, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good pickup, because obviously it gives him the health he likes to have, gives him the wards he loves to jump to, and gives him the wards to ward everything. So, you know, between Ruby Sightstone on Sona and the Ruby Sightstone on Lee Sin, yeah, pretty excellent. But, anyway, they are honestly still just looking for this perfect engagement right now. Neither side is really willing to leave mid, because they are both aware that if they play it right, they can win a 5-on-5 fight. So they don't have a reason to go somewhere else and do something else. And they care enough about this game that they're not going to do something out of sheer boredom.
And hello, here comes the movement with the combo coming in as well. We do have Jace jumping in. Sona's just kind of moving around the movement. Misfortune around at the back. We do have the ultimate coming from Lux, only kind of tickling the rest of the team. They will look for the rest of this team fight though, because Olaf will fall immediately. And now they're in full retreat as Wukong leads the charge into the decoy. Maybe for style points, I'm not entirely sure, but Flag just trying to keep them away. We will be taking small damage from Wukong with a crushing blow as well, but Iceborne Gauntlet will keep them away. And Harmonious Fist moving into the front lines once again. For very angry looks, but...
yeah, she may be angry because I think she accidentally Zonya'd again during that fight. She did it right at the start of the fight, so her burst came out quite late. May have been my interpretation, because she may have just been dodging 1 or 2 ticks of bullet time, but I think it was an accident.
Fully possible.
Yeah, you never know. So, yeah, and that fight obviously came out 1 in favor, but that disengage, that poke, meant Microsoft couldn't do anything with it. They're still stuck back to farming, guys. We've got this. Neither side really has an inherently better late game either. I mean, I guess if it goes so incredibly long that Jace can just sell everything and buy AD carry, then they might have a better late game. And I guess Misfortune is going to want to pick up an Infinity Edge as her last item, which will increase her damage outputs considerably. But yeah, right now neither side can really budge the other.
Nope. I guess we'll just be waiting for those full builds, and it's just going to drag on. And it feels like a CLG game, honestly. It really does.
Wait, what are CLG?
That game never happened, did it? CLG versus CLG.
Oh wow, yeah, CLG. No, CLG versus CLG happened.
Did it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, a couple of times in different positions. But CLG, yeah, CLG EU, they left CLG. What are they now? M5 are now Gambit Gaming. CLG EU are now GG. By the way, if you didn't see that game where Gambit Gaming, who got destroyed at the start of IEM recently, by Azubu, Frost and Blaze, I think actually, came back and won the whole thing. Ooh, spoilers. I might get spat at for that. But yeah, they really pulled it back well. And of course, Lux is now reaching the point where her cooldown on her ultimate is 24 seconds, so she can afford to just use it pretty much whenever she feels like it. Do a little bit of poke with it, why not? This is pretty much Poke War 3000 with extra regen.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised he hasn't been using the ultimate beforehand for Harass, because what's that? It's off again.
Yeah. I guess because the regen is too high.
Yeah.
Oh,
There,
yep, nope.
there we go.
Yep,
And
this is now the
they
strat.
are getting
The
tenure
strat.
rights, so they might look for this engagement, but again, it's all about getting that CC down, and my fleeting dream is still good to go. Meanwhile, giant minion wave at bottom, they might want to deal with that at some point.
You know, they could Ezreal ult that, and I expect that's what's going to be coming out in just a second when they notice it. But maybe
maybe
not.
hits the
Oh,
turret.
they're going to go for Baron.
Yeah. Has been warded though. They are walking past the turret. They might be able to nuke it down before they even get there. Mumu's walking there, however, and there's the Ezreal ultimate. Did not. Got two. And now they are moving on to that Baron. I think Gauntlet will be going down as well. Moving into the area. At worst, it's going to become a steal attempt, but at best, it's just going to transition into a team fight. Olaf on the front line, also coming down from Lux as well as they all line up. However, Olaf down to about 40% HP. Ragnarok has been popped as well. They are still waiting on that Baron. This could be a steal from Amumu, and there it is. Ultimate coming down as well into the bullet time. Maybe looking for the last team fight and maybe to get something done. We have double kill for Jace, moving on to Olaf. Maybe looking to kill onto Plague as well with the arcade shifts over the wall. That was a 3-for-0 trade and the Baron. Surely they can do something and convert this into a push of some kind.
Well, Ezreal ult is going to be coming up soon. Lux ult is already up. She's dead. I'm dumb. Ezreal ult is going to be coming up, so they are going to take this tower at the least. And I guess a Mumu and Wukong are probably now tanky enough. Hell, NF is probably tanky enough to tank the towers now. So yeah, they will be taking this as well, and probably the inhib too. Yeah, they can do this. They are now sufficiently tanky. Wait, does Muraman proc on inhibs?
This could be the game, actually. I'm not entirely sure Val can stop them, and neither can Sona. No.
That's true. It's going to be very, very hard for them. Right now, they're just going to have to sort of throw themselves at the enemy. It's like they can't do anything. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, then that's
GG,
game.
well played.
Damn.
I was a little bit caught off guard.
GG well played from both teams, and I've got to be honest, I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, that Baron fight was definitely in Microsoft's favor, but that steal. But I was just a little bit just surprised at how much they were able to push off the back of it. I think Ezreal possibly could have done a little bit more to poke them down, hold them back away from the Nexus. But yeah, well played. I guess Microsoft takes the game.
Yeah. Well,
League
thank you
of
for watching,
Tanks.
guys, to a very abrupt ending. And do we need to do anything in terms of plugging?
I don't think so. We should probably actually have put up a link to where the VODs will be for this game.
Yes.
I could possibly look to find that while you plug yourself and all that sort of thing.
Okay, so if you would like to find me, I am at facebook.com/watchyourpulse. And that is the same for my YouTube, youtube.com/watchyourpulse. And I believe Spuddington's Facebook is facebook.com/spuddingtoncast. I believe you have a YouTube as well, which has some videos, which a lot of people dislike.
Yeah, shut up. My videos are bad, but they're all like 1 minute long, so it's not really casts as of yet, in as much as it's just me thinking, that was cool, and then being like, apparently everyone else disagrees. So yeah, that's youtube.com/. I think that's also Spuddington Cast, actually. I think. I don't care. You can visit it or not, and I really won't care. So yeah, apparently.
That's not how you blog.
I plug myself how I want, damn it. Yeah, YouTube for After Hours Gaming is actually afterhoursgaming.tv. I think that's the name of the YouTube channel. So I think the VODs will be up there in a few days' time. I said in 1 day last time, and that proved to be slightly wrong because we had some issues. But we will see how it goes.
Fine, because we'll say it's going to be up in a few days' time, and then if it's on earlier, then, you know, that could only be a good thing.
Yes. Oh, did I mention I have a Twitter? I have a Twitter, @Spuddington. I don't know if you meant... yep. Hello. Hello. Do you like us? Do we like us?
I like myself.
I do. I
I'm a
look in the
pretty
mirror
cool
sometimes
guy.
and I'm like, yes, yes. This meets with my approval. I'm lying. I hate myself deep inside. What? So we probably better stop this cast now. I have absolutely no idea what's coming up next because I am terrible at scheduling. I mean, I'm excellent at scheduling. Hi, me. Um, and I think that's all I've got to say. Thank you for watching and goodbye.
Yeah, we will see you next week. Farewell.